Hello, my name is Jacob Stryker. I am 19 years old. I'm proud to say a recent graduate of Mooseheart High School. I am truly honored to be here today with all of you and to share my story how desperate for help and hope I was when I ended up at Mooseheart. I feel that Mooseheart has sincerely saved my life. As a young child, I grew up in South Carolina with my mother, my father, and 3 younger sisters. At the time, my father was a truck driver, and he wasn't home a lot. And my mother did not work, so she could take care of me and my 3 younger sisters. My dad rented a trailer for us out in the middle of the country. We never had a lot of money, so we barely had the bare necessities. We lacked like food, clothing, and shoes. But the one thing we did have was each other. And that time in our lives, that's all that kept us going. My dad was on the road a lot, working for weeks at a time. This forced me to grow up quick, to help my mom and sisters by being the older brother and the family protector. Over the years, my dad had to take various jobs that constantly moved our family around. And unfortunately, we never made any real friends, and we certainly never felt like we had a real home. The first time I saw a glimpse of hope when I was 12 years old, my Aunt Carolyn stepped into the picture and offered to help my family and I. She and my uncle, they talked my parents into moving down to Orlando. And this is when everything started to turn around, so I thought. And so they set my family up in a brand new nice home and gave my dad a good job and where he could work during the day and be home at night. And she also got my mom a job where she could work so we could have more than just the bare necessities. But my parents were always at work. They never seemed to be home with us, and so that's when we lacked that. And they're always stretching for money because the economy was tough. And there was mornings when they would be gone before we woke up to go to school, and they came home way after we've already been to bed. Once again, I had to step up for my family and take care of my sisters. At the time, my youngest sisters, who are twins at 9 years old, and my other sister, Katie, was 10. As you can imagine, this was a lot of work for her to only be 13. Although I had to take on a lot of responsibility, I felt that I was still in a good place, with a good environment, with good support structure. But again, I started to feel resentment because I had to take care of my sisters, and I was getting older, I was making friends. I knew what I wanted. I wanted freedom, and I did what I wanted to. And so I took care of my sisters the best I could while my parents were gone all the time. I just wanted to be a normal teenager. This is when things started to turn downhill for my family. My new friends weren't the greatest influences on me, and I started skipping school and coming home late, and not respecting anyone that had any kind of authority over me. I was not there for my sisters when they needed me the most, because they were home alone. Sometimes I would come home just to make sure my sisters were in bed, and then I would head back out into the night. Sadly, my parents were not around, and nobody seemed to care or have a clue what was going on. Eventually, my parents' marriage fell apart, and they filed for divorce. They both started dating other people, and they forgot totally about my sisters and me. This was a devastating time for all of us. To say the least, I understood what was happening, but my sisters were too young to wrap their minds around the whole situation and everything that had happened up toward the point. At this point, then just my parents' marriage had fallen apart. Our house, our brand new house that we had, was messy, was filthy, and we're back to not having what we had before. No food, clothes, everything like that. The aftermath of my parents' marriage was horrific. We fought to struggle. We fought to survive together for so long, but we became separate individuals who lived together, barely getting by. My sisters also started acting out by skipping school, staying up late, running around the streets at night. They were trying to get attention from anyone that would give it to them. As for me, I continued to retreat and do my own thing. I had no other concern for anyone else except for my own. The time is now when my life came to an end as I knew it. My new life began. One day, my aunt stopped by the house to check in on the family. To her shock, the house was a complete horror, the poor condition of my sisters and me. She grabbed us all and took us all to her house. My aunt knew the environment that we were living in was not good, was not healthy for us. However, she was too old to raise us on her own. In an effort to make sure we were taken care of, she found the great fraternal of the Order of the Moose. And then she found out about Mooseheart Child City. And so about a month later, in August of 2005, we became Mooseheart citizens. The transition into Mooseheart was challenging for me. Here I was again in a new city, having to make new friends, except this time, me and my sisters were no longer together, living under the same roof, and that was a hard challenge. I had no parents. We were starting all over again. I had really gotten used to calling my own shots, making my own rules, playing by my plays. But boy, how that mentality changes when you go to Mooseheart. Every student who attends Mooseheart soon learns that structure and following rules is the key to surviving and thriving. Once you can accept the terms, you adapt and gain the opportunity to become involved in a more productive life. By living at Mooseheart, I was able to have more opportunities than I can say, and that would have otherwise never happened in my previous life, to a lack of money, lack of parents, and a lack of anybody there to be for me and care. Some of these opportunities included just playing organized sports, participating in ROTC, and being a part of a summer work program. I played football, I learned how to wrestle, I participated in track. I know what you're thinking. I can look like I can run fast, don't I? Run like the wind. Well, I've ran into the wind, I ran with the wind, I've sucked wind, even blew wind once. But even at my athletic peak, no one has ever complimented on my overpowering speed. I have two other great memories during football that we made the state playoffs 3 out of the 4 years going, and especially that's really impressive for such a small school. And when the Director General was a guest coach on our sidelines. Now, prior to Mr. Airy's coaching, the Director General has held an undefeated record as guest coaches on the sidelines. Of course, this was the first time. Well, Director General was coaching on the sideline. Unfortunately, we thought we surged into a 2-score lead. We were not able to hang on to our momentum. I knew things were going downhill soon after we scored an unexpected touchdown in the second quarter. When Coach Palasko yelled down the sideline, someone grabbed the kicking tee for the extra point. Now, Mr. Airy was the only person near the equipment table. And after looking around with some confusion, he turned back and yelled to Coach Palasko, "Nestle or Lipton's?" Needless to say, we missed the extra point. Instead of calling the timeout, Coach Orweiler put Mr. Airy in the timeout for the rest of the game. I'm sorry. While at Mooseheart, I was blessed to travel on many field trips and accept invitations to supporting moose lodges in cities that I had never been to, like Nashville. Thank you so much for inviting me and having me here speak. In one trip, in fact, I went last summer, I traveled to Pennsylvania with the other boys along with Pennsylvania Home. As soon as we arrived, we felt like we were part of the PMA family. The memories created during that visit will stay with me for the rest of my life. Thank you, guys. Most importantly, while at Mooseheart, I was able to experience what a normal family structure was like. We sat down together every night for dinner. I learned how to do my own laundry, respect others' belongings along with mine, and help to complete regular household chores. Yes, even cleaning toilets. I learned how to respect authority and how to abide by the rules that were created to protect me and provide guidance for me. I was able to experience normal passages of life, like going to prom, homecoming dances, getting my driver's license, my senior ring, and earning my letterman's jacket. Adult guidance and supervision from family teachers, coaches, and school faculty helped me to build a good, solid character. Due to the generosity of lodge donations from everyone here, I had an appropriate clothing to wear and shoes and everything I wanted, brand new clothes and everything. You know how great that is to a teenager, and something to compliment my good looks. Because of my Sunshine chapters, I actually received birthday presents and even a little extra spending money for special occasions. I learned the value of importance of education, how skipping school was not in the best interest. Thank you, Women of the Moose, for providing all the educational opportunities at Mooseheart. My teachers and administrators made sure I was successfully engaged in school and earned good grades and furthered my education at the university level. Speaking of which, I'm the first person in my family to be accepted by a college, and I'll be attending Florida State College and the University of North Florida. I don't know what to say to that. I earned the Florida Bermuda Moose Scholarship Plan, and I plan to study business administration and finances. By my example, I have set the bar for my 3 younger sisters, and I have shown that our family will continue to survive together and will rise in the face of adversity. I do not know where my path will take me in life, but the time is now. I came to Mooseheart confused, scared, and troubled. Now I have graduated a high school diploma, courage, confidence, and a future. My individual success would not be possible without each one of you and your support for all that. I genuinely thank you. You have made this time for me, and now I will make my time for you. I enter adulthood, and I will one day make time for you. But for today and tomorrow, together, our time is now.
I don't want Jacob to leave the microphone right now because, as Scott Hart will be able to tell you, for Jacob to go this long without anything to eat, it's very rough on him. So wait a minute, Jacob, while you were speaking, we went out and got you a hot dog from out there so you'll be able to sit down and go.
Thank you. Thank you.